It's 6 o'clock in the heart of the Texas Hill Country, and you're listening to Eat, Play, Live with me, Andi P, the show that's chasing dreams and crushing goals. My goal here is to help you live a healthier, happier, more balanced life. Right? That's what it's all about. So speaking of balance, I thought I would kick off with a fun story. I often come up with ideas for what to talk about on the show while I'm out riding my bike. And there were a bunch of them this week. So I was riding out of town, kind of actually I'd just gone across the Llano River, and the road that I was on is a really steep hill down to the river and then up again afterward. And the going down to the river part is pretty fun, but the coming back up, not so much. In fact, oh my goodness. So I was going slower and slower and slower, trying to crank that bike up the hill. And of course, well, no, I'll tell you that in a second. So basically, I slowed down so much that I could feel myself starting to lose my balance, and my shoes clip into my pedals. So if you're going to lose your balance, you got to clip your feet out really fast. And I got one foot out, but it wasn't the direction that I fell. So it was a super glamorous moment. And of course, this is what I was going to tell you. The entire ride, I rode like 23 miles, right? And I saw two people the entire ride. That's where they were, right there on the bridge, where I don't think they're even supposed to be, but they totally saw me wipe out. So dust myself off and try to figure out, okay, which is hurt worse right now? My knee, which took the brunt of the fall, or my pride knowing that somebody just witnessed that event? You know what I'm talking about, right? So I thought about it and I dusted off and I thought, you know what? Neither of them's really hurt that bad. What do I care? I got back on the bike. Okay, wait. I finished pushing it up the hill and then I got back on the bike and I rode away, because what are you going to do? Sometimes you fall over, sometimes you embarrass yourself, and that's life. It's going to happen. So you might as well just deal with it and keep right on trucking. So I thought that was a good way to kind of start out our show tonight, because we have a lot of things to talk about when it comes to getting back on track and pushing forward and going after your goals, your dreams, whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. So when we talk about our Eat segment tonight, I'm going to talk about how to get back on track when it comes to your diet. We've all fallen off that wagon a time or two, and you can get back on. You don't have to totally start from scratch. Okay, so we'll go over that. And then play. We're going to talk about how we move through life, whether it's physically, mentally, moving through our life, regardless of the opinions of others and when they see us fall. And then in live, we're going to pursue our dreams, no matter how big they are, how long it takes, strategies for determining what that dream is and what it's going to take to go after it. So I've got some good stuff for you on that. As always, you can follow me on Facebook or Instagram at eatplaylive.andi. And when I talk about things on the show, whether I talk about a book that I'm reading or a tool that I'm using, I'm going to talk about a journal that I'm using, I will post those things on my Facebook page. So if there's anything I'm talking about, you can go to that Facebook page, and usually if it's something I've bought, I'll post the link so that you can order your own, or just I try to use that as a way for you to be able to dig in just a little bit deeper. Okay. Tonight, I'm going to ask you to write something down. So at some point, see if you can't get yourself a pen and paper, and we're going to do that toward the end of the show. Okay. So it is eatplaylive.andi on both Facebook and Instagram, if you want to follow me there. Let's get into the nitty gritty of this. Eat. I want to talk about getting back on track. Every single person that I've ever met has tried some sort of diet at some point in their lives. And every single person that I have ever met has gotten derailed at some point on that said diet. Sometimes before you even start, oh my gosh, I used to be the worst at that. I'm like pulling up to the drive-through thinking, oh, I was supposed to start eating healthy today. Okay, after this, let me just order this and then I'll start. Was really good at that. So it's okay. I mean, we've all done it. When you slip, the trick is to start right again. Don't wait a week. Don't say, I'll start on Monday if it's only Tuesday, so now you're going to wait 6 days. Just start tomorrow. Do it tomorrow. Tomorrow is a new day. Every tomorrow is a new day and a fresh start. Okay. I have been following the eating plan that I am on right now for a long time. And there are times that I kind of blow it. Oh my gosh, I wasn't even going to tell you all about this, but yesterday I went into work and there were some cookies. They bake cookies fresh every day, which I have chosen to block out the fact that that's happening, but there were some that were just a little bit overcooked, so they just set them right there where I work. They were warm out of the oven. Do you know that's my kryptonite? There is almost no power as great to take me down as fresh baked chocolate chip cookies right out of the oven. Yeah, they were amazing. And yes, I took a little piece and a little piece and a little piece, and everybody was laughing at me because I don't eat sugar. And so that sugar rush, I was just all over the place, just crazed. And I knew I was going to make myself sick. So I finally said, take these away. And sometimes you have to do that. You have to just get somebody to get in there and just remove this temptation because it is more powerful than I can stand. But the other thing that I've been working on with my eating plan, and I know a lot of you deal with this, wine is a tough one. It can derail your plans because it tends to make you not care as much if you're following the rest of your healthy eating once you've had a glass or two. So I've been trying to eliminate wine on certain nights during the week. And the other night I was having my little glass of wine and I hadn't finished it. And I thought, you know what? I don't even want this. I threw it away. I know. I hate to waste, but it was just a little bit, but it was progress. It was progress. I stopped right there. And that's what I want you to understand is even if you're, halfway through the thing that you're not supposed to be eating, you can stop. Sometimes all you need is a bite or a taste. That's really what you're craving. You see it and you instantly want it, or you smell it and you instantly want it. And once you've had a taste, go slow. Take a little sample. Maybe that's all you needed, So give that a try. The other thing I want to encourage you to do, write it down. Write down what you're eating, especially if you're really trying to lose weight or put on muscle or you have a very specific goal. You think you know what you're doing, but I guarantee you, until you write it down, you don't know. Those little, we call them BLTs, bites, licks, and tastes. Those things sneak in and you don't realize how much they're affecting you getting the results that you want. So write it down and keep a journal of what you eat. Even if you do it, set a goal to do it for 1 week. Okay, you can do that. Write everything you eat down for 1 week and you will be amazed. There will be things that will be very obvious to you. Okay, shouldn't have had that. You know when you look at it what things aren't good for you. Also, keep track of your patterns. And this is kind of next level. Maybe you only need to write down the food and that's all you need and that'll do it for you. But sometimes you can find patterns in the way you eat. Maybe make a note of the time of day that you're eating. Maybe you have a tendency to snack at a certain time of day, or you start craving sweets or salty things at a certain time of day. Also, you can note how you're feeling. That's a big one. I used to notice that the minute I got to work, I wanted a snack. I wanted food immediately. It was 9 o'clock in the morning. I had just had breakfast, but I walked into work and I suddenly was craving a snack. Well, it was a stress reaction. And I got to where I was so dependent on going and getting that snack, I wasn't even thinking about it anymore. And it really didn't help get the work done. It really didn't accomplish anything except kind of distract me for a few minutes while I went. Generally, I made popcorn. And if I burned it, it distracted everybody, which was never going to make me very popular. But so keeping track of those things. And I found the coolest journal. And of course, I put it on my Facebook. I found this journal where you can actually track what you're eating, what kind of exercise you're doing, but also how you're feeling, the time of day, all those kind of things you can track in this cute, handy dandy little journal. So I encourage you to get something like that. You can just Google food journal, and there are all kinds of options out there. This one is actually called Unstoppable, or that's what it says on the front cover, and it has little flowers. And of course, I love that, so I ordered it from Amazon. But I put it on my Facebook page, so you can click on that and check it out. And if there are things once you're journaling that you're not sure about, like, okay, I had a margarita, right? How bad is that? That's not really that bad, right? Bad news. Margaritas are really bad. They have about 200 calories per drink, per just one little small one, not that big old thing that comes in the big goblet and with the beer stuck upside down. No, that's probably like 500. But just a regular plain margarita is about 200 calories. Also, it can have 12 to 20 grams of sugar. Do you remember last week when I was talking about sugar and how much you should have per day? Yeah. Well, one margarita is about twice your daily intake of what you should be having in sugar. And who wants one margarita, right? You're going to want, more than one, just depending on who you are. Just saying. I'm not encouraging you people to drink. I don't know why I'm on that today. But that was one when I did Weight Watchers. That was how I initially lost 65 pounds. And so I tracked my food. That's one of their huge strategies, is you write it all down. And that was one of the biggies that just blew my mind, is when I found out how bad margaritas were. And it was distressing. But see, you can get past it. It's okay. I'm not saying you can never have one again, but know what you're doing. Arm yourself with information, and then you will be able to armor up for life. So, all right. We talked about eating out of stress, which is a big one. I know so many people do that. It can be at work, it can be at home. That is, that's, I think, where the term comfort food came from. People turning to food to comfort themselves, to reduce that stress. Well, guess what a better way is to reduce stress? Exercise, aka playing. So let's get into our play segment. All right, let's get outside. And right now it is beautiful. It is the perfect time to play outside, whatever playing looks like to you, whether it's walking or running, riding your bike, whatever. Get outside and get that sunshine, that vitamin D, reduce your stress level, play outside. And again, like I said, I come up with a lot of ideas while I'm out riding my bike. And this was really fascinating to me. So I have been loving all the animals that I encounter. I ride these back roads all outside of Mason. I've started driving away from town now so that I can pick back roads and go farther and farther and just explore. And I'm meeting the coolest animals. So far, no scary ones, thankfully. But I got to thinking about it the other night, and I was watching the deer, and there were so many deer, and I just love their white tails bouncing along. And this one, he was on the other side of the fence from where I was riding, and he jumped over the fence and ran across the road. If I had been in a car, I would have hit him. But why? Why did he do that? That was the most random direction. He could have gone. He didn't even have to do anything. He was on the other side of the fence, or she, rather. But what a weird reaction that fear had in that deer. And so, typically, as we all know, if you come upon a deer, they run. They scatter and go in random directions. Cows, Oh my gosh. Sometimes they run. A lot of times they just stare. They look so curious and they just stare you down. And I talk to them as I'm going by, and sometimes I moo at them, and then I laugh at myself for being kind of a dork. But it's so much fun. It's so much fun. And then there was an armadillo that came cruising across the road, completely oblivious, didn't even ever register that I was right there. Goats. Goats are fun. I like to talk to the goats. And the other day I was riding and I actually stopped because they were right in the road and they were so cute. And they came just right up to me to the point where I started going again because I was afraid they were going to try to take a bite out of my bike. No, that would not be okay. But anyway, as fun as these animals are, I got to thinking about it. If those were people and they responded to you the way animals respond to you, how would that make you feel? If you're out, whether you're playing or just walking down the road, and you encountered someone who jumped and ran in a weird direction, someone who stared at you and didn't even blink, someone who came right up and got super close, all up in your business, someone who didn't notice you at all, didn't even realize that you were right there. How would you respond to those people? Every single one of those responses has the potential to hurt your feelings or make you feel less than. So what's that about? Why is it that we are so tuned in and worried about what people, how they respond to us? We don't care how animals respond to us. I do not have the answer to this. It's just something that I find fascinating. Why are we so worried about what other people think? You know, it's crazy. And I do it. I'm guilty of it. I hate wearing shorts in public. I will tell you that. You know, I mentioned that I lost 65 pounds over the course of my life. There was a point where I weighed 100 pounds more than I did at the smallest part. Oh my gosh. So anyway, my skin is not perfect. I am 50 years old and I've had a massive weight loss, and some of my skin is not, I don't look like I'm 20, and I don't like it. And I don't like to wear shorts in public because I don't want people to look at my legs and say, gosh, she works out a lot. You'd think her legs would look better. Really? Really? That is so ridiculous. And I know it's ridiculous, but it doesn't make me want to wear shorts anymore. I did wear them running today, so you got to give me some props because it was 90 degrees. So at that point, I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm just going to do it. So one of the benefits of exercise is learning to just push through, you know, push through what others might be thinking, push through what you might be thinking about yourself. That is a huge part of the point. You are not going to get where you want to be unless you just push through. And on that note, we're going to move into live, because this is life, right? It doesn't just have to do with exercise. This has to do with everything in your life. And nothing will bring more meaning to your life than pursuing your dreams. When is the last time you really chased a dream? Just gave it everything you had. Do you remember? I know you've done it. I know you've done it multiple times throughout your life. You know, on the show, I talk a lot about my fitness goals and the dreams that I have of accomplishing things that I never thought possible. But there have been many times in my life, and when I lost the weight, that actually empowered me to go after a huge dream that I had. You know, I worked in television for more than 20 years, and I really wanted to be on TV. I wanted to be a reporter or a newscaster. I thought that would be so cool. But this mean girl in the back of my head told me that I couldn't do that. She said that I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't pretty enough. People would laugh at me for even trying. And so I became a producer, and I worked behind the scenes because I fear win? That's hard to say. But I didn't expect this. When I lost the weight, I just thought I needed to lose a little bit of weight. But after 65 pounds, I thought, if I can do that, I can do whatever I want. And if I want to be on TV, then by golly, I'm going to be on TV. So I worked at a news station. I started going to work at 5 o'clock in the morning because the girl that did our traffic reports, and this is in Dallas where we had traffic, she was pregnant. And I knew that they didn't have anybody else that knew how to fill in. At some point, there was going to be a problem here, and I had approximately 4 months to figure out a solution. So that's what I did. I started going in at 5 o'clock in the morning and studying and watching and talking to her and learning from her. And then I started to tell some of my other friends that worked there, like the makeup girl who taught me how to do my makeup. And then one of the other news anchors who brought me a whole bunch of clothes that she didn't wear anymore. And do you know what happened when that girl went on maternity leave? I filled in. I was the backup traffic girl, and I was not great. I was not great, but I achieved that goal. And after doing it for a little while, our station manager decided that he wanted somebody younger and better, and he didn't want to use me anymore. And that really hurt my feelings. So you know what I did? I went across the street to the other station. Bye-bye, CBS. NBC is right across the street. And they hired me to be the backup girl, and I did it for 5 years. So I tell you this just to say nothing is impossible. You know, sometimes you got to do crazy things like go to work at 5 o'clock in the morning. I mean, that was outside the box thinking. You know, you have to look for opportunities that aren't necessarily obvious, but you can make your dreams happen. And it was really fun. It was so much fun. And not everybody liked me. I wasn't the greatest traffic girl on the planet. That's okay. I got to do it. And it was really fun. And it led to other opportunities that I never would have expected. And, you know, maybe someday I'll tell you about those. But the thing is, it's not just about achieving that goal or that dream. It's about who you become in the process. That is the key. And nobody, not that station manager, nobody gets to tell you how big your dreams can be. That, my friends, is up to you. Okay? Not even that mean girl. If you have one of those in the back of your head, slap her. Because she doesn't get to say that at all. So I have one more story I want to share really quickly because this really spoke to my heart. And I thought about all the times I wanted to quit. You know, 20 years in working in TV, there were many times that I got super burned out and I wanted to just do anything else. And I thought, no. One of my other big dreams when it came to that particular job is I wanted to win an Emmy. I really thought, you know, I was a producer, and that's kind of the thing that says you have achieved, you have done so well, you win the Emmy. So I didn't quit. I kept trucking along, and 15 years into my TV career, I won an Emmy. In fact, I won 3. And it was really cute. I was telling my son this the other day, and it's funny because, you know, when you're raising your kids, they're there and you're accomplishing grown-up things in your career world, and you think your kids know what's going on, but I got to thinking about it. He was just a little kid. He didn't really realize. I mean, he knew mom was going to this award thing or whatever. But anyway, so he's grown now. So we were talking about it, and I said, I don't know if you know this, but kind of a big deal to me is that the Emmys that I won one for producing, and I won one for directing, and I won one for on-air talent. Remember the girl that wasn't smart enough or pretty enough or good enough to be on TV? Yeah, I got one for that too. So to all those people who said that would never happen, nanny, nanny. And that's the thing. Go get your dreams. Say nanny, nanny to those naysayers. You it. You can do it little by little. It might take 15 years. You might fall on your face a dozen times. It's all right. That's all right. That's what it's all about. Building on that, letting that thing make you stronger. So I told you at the beginning of the show that I wanted you to get a pen and a piece of paper. Here's what I want you to do. Write down your dreams. Just start writing and let them flow. There are things that you desire for your life that you won't even let yourself admit. But you start writing and you just let it come out, and you will be amazed at what you discover you really want to do. And then you get started doing it. Make it happen. When you finish that list tonight, do it tonight. Do not put it off, because I know how you are. You won't get it done. Do it right after this show. I'm going to play a really cool song when I'm finished with the show, and then I want you to make your list. And when you're finished making your list, look at it. And if it doesn't scare you, keep going. You got more work to do. Thank you so much for joining me tonight on Eat, Play, Live. I hope that these stories are inspiring to you. I look for ways to share my good, bad, and ugly in hopes that it will just give you something, give you some tools for your tool bag. If you ever have any questions, you want to reach out, eatplaylive.andy on Facebook or Instagram. You can message me. So, all right, I'm going to play this cool song that I told you about, and then make your list. I'm going to know if you didn't do it. Here we go.